Let there be carnage. Oh, let there be carnage. Let's get into it. Channel. Hope you're all doing well out there. And today we're going to review a film or talk about a film that I wasn't really planning on reviewing, but my son kept asking me, he goes, Daddy, you got to review this movie. So we're going to talk about Venom-Let There Be Carnage today. Now, before we get into it, like, comment, subscribe. Join me here. I greatly would appreciate that. Click on the little notification bell. That way, every time I upload a video, you get notified and you come back and see what I got going on over here. So yes, I bought the 4K of Venom-Let There Be Carnage. I got it at a very reasonable price on Amazon because I know my son kept bugging me. He really wanted to see this film. So we sat down, me, my wife, and my son sat down and watched it on Saturday night, and he was a very happy boy because he loved it, and he told me I should review it, so here we are. Fulfilling my son's request, so here we go. Venom-Let There Be Carnage dropped on October 1st of 2021. It's PG-13. It's only an hour and 37 minutes long. It is a quick watch for sure, and upon release, it made $213 in America and $502 worldwide, so it was a nice size hit for Sony. Andy Serkis directed this film. Now, Andy Serkis is mostly known for being Gollum in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. He was King Kong for Peter Jackson as the suit for the CGI. He was the apes in Planet of the Apes trilogy, and he's directing here, and he knows his way around special effects here. Tom Hardy is back from the first film as Eddie Brock / Venom. Woody Harrelson is here as Cletus Cassidy and Carnage. We got Michelle Williams as Anne, Eddie's love interest from the first film, although they're not together anymore. If you ever seen the first one, you'd know they're not together anymore. And then we got Naomi Harris as Frances Barrison, and she has her own special powers in this film as well. I saw the first Venom. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was great. I thought it was a middle-of-the-road comic book film. Once it got going in the second half, I enjoyed myself a lot more than the first half. I thought it took a long time to get going. And in the second half, I enjoyed myself. And the thing I liked the most was the banter between Eddie Brock and Venom when they're having conversations back and forth. That's probably my favorite part besides some of the action scenes. So I thought I assumed we'd probably get more of that here and a lot more action, especially considering the runtime. I knew there had to be at least a big final battle, and we get that here too. We pretty much pick up with Eddie Brock, I don't know how long later, and Cletus Cassidy, we should see his origin stories as a child and some of the abusiveness he went through. And he goes sent to this home and he meets this girl, Frances, and they fall in love together. But she has special powers. She can scream really loud, and that's her power. And she could wreck some shit. So that's her power. Now, Cletus is on death row because he's a serial killer, and he requests to be interviewed by Eddie Brock. He wants to talk to Eddie Brock. So Eddie goes to see him in prison, and they have what normally you would see is a very bizarre conversation from a serial killer. And I don't mind Woody Harrelson here. I've seen people complaining back in the fall when this was released that they didn't like him in this role. I don't know what the role was meant to be, but I thought Woody Harrelson was fine. I didn't think he was awesome. I just think he was okay. I didn't hate his performance. I thought he was okay in it. So take that as it may. I never read the comic book, so I don't know how accurate his character is to the comic book. So other than that, I thought he did okay with the role. And he bites Eddie before Eddie leaves, and he gets a little bit of the symbiote in him, and eventually he turns into Carnage. And he wants to get his girlfriend out of where she's being kept, and then he wants to kill Eddie. He doesn't know Eddie's Venom yet, and his girlfriend wants to take revenge on this cop who she had an encounter with when they were transferring her from the home to somewhere else. And so that's basically what we end up in a cathedral at the end, and Carnage and Frances are going to get married, or Cletus, and Eddie shows up because Carnage kidnapped Anne, and the cop is there as well, so Francine could kill him, and Eddie shows up, Venom pops out, and we get our big final battle in this church between Carnage and Venom beats Carnage, and that's the end of the film pretty much. What to like about this film? The length. 97 minutes isn't a bad length for a film like this. They do set up Cletus. I think that was a lot of people's complaints back in the fall. They do set him up as a child. They rush through it, though. This film feels very rushed. They do not spend any wasted moment or to take your breath to get to know these characters. This is like a freight train just keeps moving forward. And then even the final fight feels rushed. There's some spectacular stuff going on. It's all the big CGI battle. It looks cool. But there's no suspense to it. It's just like there's this big fight that goes on for about 10, 15 minutes. And then it's over, and it's the end of the film. We get an after credit sequence too with Eddie that in Mexico that we see at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, where he's sitting at that tiki hut. We see how he gets there in this film. It just feels very truncated, like a lot of stuff was cut out. And even at moments, like things happen to people and it happens so quick and they cut away, you don't even really know what happened to them. You really don't. Like at the end, I actually lost track of what happened to certain characters because it cuts so quick. And I'm like, why didn't you let it breathe a little bit? I don't know if this was studio mandated or this was just a choice by Andy Serkis. A lot of these films were made by committee, unfortunately. So I don't know how much control Andy Serkis had, but it just feels like a lot of stuff was cut out of this film to make it as short as possible and as quick as possible. But you can still sit down and enjoy this film. I think it could have breathed a little bit and gave us a little bit more story-wise, but that's not what their goal was here. This was just to get to the fight at the end, and they did that. And I enjoyed it for what it was. My son certainly loved it. I didn't think it was the greatest thing I've ever seen. I thought it was okay. At the end of the day, Carnage was supposed to be in the first film, and they kept them back for the sequel. At the end of the day, I'd give this a 6.5 out of 10. It's an enjoyable enough. It's a short watch. There's enough action to keep you glued to the screen, but there's not much story here. It's okay. I had an okay enough time with it. It's perfect for kids, though, because there's enough action and it's short enough that kids won't mind it. It's not a long movie, obviously, at 97 minutes. So, again, my son absolutely loved it. I'm giving it a 6.5 out of 10. It's not a piece of trash. I enjoyed it. I just didn't think it was the greatest thing ever. So yeah, 6.5 out of 10 for Venom-Let There Be Carnage. What are your thoughts on this film? Leave a comment down below. Let me know. Hit the thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button. Share this video. I would appreciate that. I'll be back soon with Blade Trinity. But until then, I hope you're all doing well out there. And bye.